is my power? Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about makeup brushes and makeup applicators. So we're going to do that while I'm doing my daily makeup routine. So we're not going to focus on the actual makeup products. And this will be one of my how to do videos. So yeah, I hope you will find this interesting and educational in some way, maybe. But anyhow, if you're not already subscribing to my channel, well, I suggest you to do that. Just click the button somewhere here and the bell for notifications every time I upload a new video. With no further ado, let's get into this. So my hands, or my hand looks very disgusting right now. I'm sorry for that, but I received a tan drop thing. So I applied it and the day after my hand looked like that. So yeah, very disturbing, but we just going to ignore it. So this is brushes I use for my daily routine right now. If I'm going to do something more advanced or something more, precise, I will of course use some different kind of brushes, but when I'm going to work or I'm just going to, I don't know, do my daily makeup, these are the brushes and applicators I use. So this is kind of the base brushes you need. So I have already moisturized my face and all of that. So I'm just going to apply some primer, and this is a green color correcting primer from NYX, and I'm just applying with my hands, and your hands is your best friend when it comes to makeup, okay? I'm going to do my eyebrows, and for that you can use a gel or a pen or powder. So depending on what product you are going to apply on your eyebrows, you will have to use different kind of applicators, but with a regular pen, obviously, you don't need anything to apply it with. It can be good to have a pen with a spoolie. If not, you can buy separate spoolies. They are really good to have. So I have many different kind of spoolies, but the most pens have them directly on the other side of the pen. Some people obviously want to apply eyebrow gel, so we're going to do that as well. And this particular one is from Kiko Milano. And for this, you want a very precise eyebrow brush. So this is a very small angled brush. And I mean, there are many different kinds. This is from Colourpop, very, very thin. I think the bristles are too long, so, it gets too soft and flingy. And then I have this from Morphe with a spoolie in the end, and it's kind of good, but I have it for a long time, so the bristles kind of, gets destroyed. I don't know. So my new favorite eyebrow brush is from Insulish, and I love this. I seriously love it. It's so small, so precise, and you get so precise line with it. So this is definitely one of my to die for brushes, and I use this every day. So definitely one of my favorite brushes. And you can also use these when you're applying brow powder. Do you say that? I think so. So there we have one brow. Now I want to clean them, and you need a precise brush with tightly packed bristles, and I'm talking about a concealer brush. So this is double-ended. I usually don't like double-ended brushes just because I don't know how to store them, because if you put them in like one of these, you're going to put the weight on the bristles on some side, so they're going to get, destroyed. So I usually don't like them, but this is a new brush, no named cheap brush, but I really like it. And the same about this kind of brushes, you have them in many different shapes and sizes. So yeah, but a concealer brush is very small, it's very precise and dense, so you can do that line without the product getting everywhere. So these have two sides, one who is a bit more thicker and the other one is more precise and small, and that's the one we're going to use. So I'm just taking any concealer and I'm going to shape out the brows a bit, put on some of that, and then I just use this small, tightly packed side. And then I go in with my MAC paint pot over my lids, and to apply that I have a new brush from Morphe. This is the E8, so it's like a small buffing brush and I love it. And obviously if you have small lids it can be very difficult to go in with this because it's big. You can use it to take away powder under the eyes, or you can buff in some concealer. You can use this for many different kind of things. I use it very, very frequently. Time for eyeshadow. I'm going to use my Natasha Denona Gold palette. And I'm not going to talk about what shades or anything. I'm just going to apply it and show you my eye brushes. So I'm just using these 5 brushes for my eyes on a daily basis. Obviously I have a lot more and some upstairs, a lot of brushes there, but to be honest these are the ones I need for a regular eye look. So first I'm going to use this brush from Morphe. It's the M330 and it's just a blending brush, not so precise, and yeah, it's a bit thicker than these regular blending brushes. So with this brush I like to apply the first shade, the transition shade. Don't take my word on everything on these brushes because everyone has different kind of preferences. We have different amount of space to work with, so a brush who is perfect for me may be too small or too big for someone else's eyelid. So you really have to figure out what space you have to work on. But as I said, this is perfect for me. I can apply it very quickly, getting it where I want it. It's not too big, so it doesn't get it up to the eyebrow, but still it's, yeah, perfect size. You don't have to blend for ages. It's just, yeah, quick and simple. When you are choosing the brushes, you need to think about different kind of things. First of all, how is the shape and size? That is very important. If you have more tightly packed brushes, it's going to get more intense. If you have more fluffier brushes with more air between the bristles, it's going to get a more blended finish. And depending on how tapered or you know, the shape of the brushes also are going to be, you know, deciding how the result is going to be. Also, how you hold the brush. You want to hold it maybe here, not in here, because that's going to be very hard and you're almost dragging the product. It's going to be really weird. And then you need to think about what the brush is made of. So you have synthetic brushes and you have real hair brushes, synthetic and real hair brushes. They are a bit of a mix. It can be a bit difficult to find out, but it always says in the description, and if it's not, I mean, it's not a serious company or a brand, so don't buy them, but it should say. And when you're applying powder products, it's not really important what the brush is made of, because powder is not a liquid, but I find that real hair bristles apply powder much better than synthetic brushes, but that's just my opinion. But in the end of the day, it almost looks the same, so it's not definitely important. But when you use a brush for liquid products, you really want to have synthetic bristles, because synthetic bristles doesn't absorb the liquid in the same way that real hair does. Because real hair, I mean, if you put oil in your hair, it sinks in and it like drinks up the oil. And that's the same way with real hair bristles on brushes. They're going to take in that product, so you will have to over apply product and waste a lot of product, because yeah, it just go to waste. And therefore I would recommend to use brushes with synthetic bristles when you're applying liquid products. I just wanted to, you know, talk a bit about that. Now I want to apply a darker shade, and I want it to be more precise because I don't want it to get as high as the other shade, the previous one. I want it more on the actual lid, so I want to use a more precise brush. This particular one is from Sigma. It's the Detail Blending E27, so it's more packed together, the bristles, but still not so packed that it could be a concealer brush. So I'm going to use that to apply the darker shade. And then we can go back to the previous brush, the fluffier one, for the blending the edges. And right now I want to put some darker shade in between because I want to blend out even more. So I'm going to use a brush from Colourpop. This is a bit more tapered, but still almost like a blending brush, but more precise and smaller, because we don't want that shade to get too high. Also, it's good to have one more blending brush, a clean one, so you're not applying more product while doing the last blending. And for the lower lash line, we're going to use this more tapered brush, very small, and I don't know what the name of it is, but this is also from Morphe, the M321. So this is perfect to apply eyeshadow on the lower lash line without getting it everywhere. Also, you can use these smaller blending brushes. So the Morphe Blending Fluffy Big Brush for applying my transition shade and also to blend other shades. Blending Fluffy Brush number 2, a bit longer but still fluffy, also from Morphe, to blend a bit more but not applying, just blending. The third brush from Morphe, smaller, more tapered, more tightly packed bristles for the lower lash line. A detail blending brush from Sigma, but I use it to pack on shadow. And a smaller blending brush from Colourpop for more detailed blending when you want to get in smaller spaces without getting shadow everywhere. And of course, Sigma and Morphe is my favorite brands for brushes, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, so now we want to apply some foundation. And to apply foundation, like I said before, you want brushes with synthetic bristles so it doesn't absorb all the products. And some people prefer a blending sponge for applying their foundation, fine, but I like applying my foundation with a brush. Usually I use these flat buffing brushes, so they're completely flat, but they cover a big space and tightly packed bristles. They are going to push the product into the pores pretty much. So this one is from Milani, the foundation brush. I love it, it's dirty and so. Also, Morphe has a buffing brush that's also one of my favorites. But today we're going to use one from Real Techniques. It doesn't have the same shape, but still dense and tightly packed bristles, and I like it a lot. And I feel like the brushes make the process so much quicker. That's why I'm not applying with the sponge. And to blend out the concealer, I use the Real Techniques sponge. No matter what sponge you use, you need to get it underwater before using it. If the sponge is dry, it's going to blend your liquid in a weird way, and it's going to absorb all the product, so don't use it dry. So let's say we want like that. Also, I use the sponge to do my powdering or my bake. Sponge and apply. For my powder contour, I use this small contouring brush from Luxy, so it's more precise and you can get it where you want it without it getting too blended. Luxy brushes are amazing, actually. For bronzers, I want it to be very blended and not precise. I want to be sun-kissed. So I want a bigger, fluffier brush. This is from Real Techniques. So it's very soft, a bit tapered, and almost like a powder brush. So I like to use one of those. And I use the same brush for my blush. And sometimes I go in with that Luxy brush for my blush as well. So now I usually take a pressed powder and my sponge to blend out any harsh shadows or to soften any over-applied spots. For applying highlight, I previously used the fan brush. This particular one is from Real Techniques. So it's very thin and very soft, and you just very, very good brush. But now I like a more intense highlight, so I bought a Morphe M510 brush. This is a tapered and dense brush, and it's perfect for that highlight. I just so let's apply some of the Fenty highlighter. So I'm just going to finish the rest. I'm not going to use any more brushes, and then we will talk some more about cleaning and so on. So these are pretty much the brushes I use. Of course, we need to talk about some cleaning. You need to clean your brushes now and then. For cleaning my brushes while I'm doing my makeup and to be able to use the brush immediately, I use a brush cleaner. This is from Kix. It's amazing. It's spray, so you just spray it on a paper towel and then you can clean the brush and it dries, I mean, almost immediately. It's awesome. It dries so fast because it has alcohol in it, but also you need to do a deep cleansing of your brushes now and then. For that, I take a regular hand soap, so I just take my brush in that, and then I use these brush cleaning things. This was the first one I bought, so I just do that, but then I found this much better. So first I take some soap on the brush and then water, of course, and then I just clean it. This is so good, I love it. Sometimes I just put it in the sink and then do it there. So when you have cleaned your brush and it's wet, of course I take out as much water as I can, but they're still obviously wet, so you don't want to put your brush like this or this, because the water from the bristles are going into the handle where the glue and everything is, so it's going to dissolve that and the bristles are going to fall off and you pretty much destroyed your brush, and also the handle can fall off. So I always put my brushes on towels and with something here so it points the bristles down, and that way it can go off in the right direction. I think some brands also have these dry stands, so you can put your brush into them and they hold all of your brushes. So that's also an option, but I think it's a more expensive option and kind of unnecessary. So yeah, just be careful. You don't want to destroy all your brushes, so think about that. You have a lot of bacteria and disgusting things in your brushes. You don't want to apply it on your face over and over and over again. You want to keep them clean, at least as clean as you can. So yeah, that's very important. Okay, so that's everything for this video. I know this is confusing. I hope I will sort it up a bit when I'm editing, but if not, I will do more videos on brushes because I know it's something that's confusing a lot of people. For me, this is necessary, and yeah, I think we end here. That's everything for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, if you want notifications every time I upload a new video, you can click the bell. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!